Yeah, you've got so much going on, Bob, right? As the calendar turns, I mean, we haven't even talked about probably the biggest fight of them all, and that is what Tyson Fury, your heavyweight champion, is going to do next. I know there's been some hiccups in regards to his mandatory WBC title defense against Dillian Whyte. What is going on with that right now?
Well, again, people who really have no contractual connection with Tyson Fury are trying to put a fight on with Usyk, with Joshua stepping aside, with Dillian Whyte stepping aside. I don't think that's going to be successful. I think it'll end up with Tyson Fury fighting Dillian Whyte over in the UK, and Usyk fighting Joshua in their rematch around the same time.
Yeah, real close to each other on the calendar, you think? I mean, do you have a date in mind for the Fury fight?
Well, the date we're looking at is March 26th. It may have to be pushed into April because we've lost Frank. Warren has lost a lot of time as far as putting it on.
Okay. All right. So it's just a conversation with him. Is there any kind of other deadline that's hitched to that fight? Or is there, like, you have to get something done in place by another date, the contract signed or whatever?
If we don't are not able to sign that fight, it goes to purse bid, and Frank and ourselves are going to put up a good amount to win the fight.
Do you think that's going to happen?
I have no idea.
I think the deadline is, did I see this right, the 23rd, or is it 27th?
Whatever Friday is.
Okay, got it. Well, Bob, look, we're here in January, and I know that, we just had a very important date pass, and that was Muhammad Ali's 80th birthday. As you reflect back on the life and the contributions of, the man that basically started your promotional career, what resonates? What memory lasts the most with Muhammad Ali and what he meant? Maybe it's to you, maybe it's to the world.
Well, I remember how articulate he was, and how vocal he was, and how he had the great ability to take a thought, frame it, and when it came out of his mouth, it was brilliant. People, again, when you go back to those times, people would be, if he said it the wrong way, people would have been very, very upset. If he said it the way he did, like Ali could do, people would laugh. And then when after laughing, when they thought about it, might very well accept it. He had that ability of saying controversial things, controversial then, things in a way that appeared to be very humorous. And that is something that is a real gift, and he had that gift.
Yeah, disarming, I think, is probably the word, and I think it's interesting. What's most interesting is that he was your first fighter, and yet I would imagine in your eyes, there's never been another like him,
No,
out of all the guys.
And in my lifetime, there never will be. I mean, you can't say there's no never, never, after I'm gone and so forth. But in my lifetime, there's been no one even close to Ali.
Do you still feel maybe, his wisdom, his words, do you remember the conversations? Is that part of the game? I mean, you've stayed in this business for so long, you could have walked away. Is there still a great joy in boxing because of, you know, the way it started with Muhammad Ali for you?
Well, yeah, when you look back on it and you reminisce, there are so many great moments created by him. He was a very unusual fellow and a wonderful spokesperson for the sport of boxing. When I look back on Ali, even though a lot of what he said was profound, there's always a chuckle that comes out of me because he was very funny when he talked. And there's, you know, there's been nobody like him since then. That doesn't denigrate the other fighters that followed after him, but he was very unique. I mean, George Foreman had the second George Foreman, the one that fought after the 10-year hiatus, you know, had that ability, but George was very, very funny, but he wasn't, or nor did he try to be, as profound as Ali was.
Yeah, and then I was just reflecting back upon the guys that some of the guys that you've had. You know, you had the good-looking Oscar De La Hoya, who had that pretty face like Ali. You had Manny Pacquiao, who was a man of the people, a servant of the people.
Ray Leonard. But
yeah,
you know, it's unfair to compare any of them to Muhammad Ali because Ali was invested with a message. You know, the message that black is beautiful and that black people have to be given their place in society. And that was a very profound message at the time. And the other fighters that you've mentioned were fun and they were personable, like Oscar, like Ray Leonard, but they, again, didn't didn't want to, or didn't feel the need to get into the areas that Ali did.
Yeah, it's a very meaningful message. It's a message that, you know, we continue to try to, everyone tries to continue, or a lot of people try to push.
And it's not something that you can do. It's not something that have that touch like Ali did. To do it in a way that make you entertaining and yet profound. I mean, that was a special skill. I mean, like some people say that he was touched by the hand of God.
Mm-hmm.
But it was something special in the ability to do that. I mean, it's not something that you can do just because you want to do it. You have to be blessed with that ability that he had.
No doubt about it, Bob. The memory of his message still lives on, and let's hope that, you know, as we reflect upon his life, that we can hold that close to our hearts and try to be better people that, you know, can live with all of us. But I really appreciate this today, Bob. Any other news you got for us? I know you got some otherwise on the schedule. You got Josh Taylor defending his belt February 26th against Catterall. The Jose Ramirez fight has got pushed back until March 4th. And then you've got Michael Conlon fighting for his first belt March 12th. So definitely a full schedule for you.
Yeah, oh no, and then we're doing a big show in Madison Square Garden with the return of Berlanga and your
Yeah.
and so we're going to be very, very busy. Hopefully, the COVID will be under control, and the weather will not diminish what we're trying to do. I mean, we had a good crowd up in Turning Stone, but my guys all complained how cold it was. But it was what it was.
Great. Well, thank you. I'm sure you'll be up to it, Bob. We'll see you ringside soon, and thank you so much for your time today.
All right, good talking to you, Lance.
All right, take care, Bob.